Welcome back to Beauty Gains with Court and Jess. We have a special guest today. What up, Tut?
What is up?
El Presidente.
My peeps.
So today we are going to get back into talking about growth and goals, and that's the topic that we're going to hit today. Last week we took a little detour for you guys. Again, anytime you have a question, just let us know. We'll stop our route and then reroute back. I think last week's episode, though, is actually a good one to segue into talking about personal growth and personal growth and goal setting. So we keep talking about goals. You guys have goals. Some of you are listening to us. Have a goal. How do I make a goal? How do I set up for success for my goal when I figure out what I want to do? Which is why we brought on Tut. Because Tut is one of the people who I know, goal after goal after goal after goal, growth, can't keep up with him, don't even know what he's up to next, and somehow he keeps it all together and keeps on this righteous path of personal growth. So we're going to let him take over for a minute or two before me and Courtney get back to talking, and just kind of let all of our listeners know about you and what you're up to.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. You guys are getting big time now. That last podcast you guys did last week, so many people reached out, even to me, are like, that was an awesome episode.
Yeah.
Like super relatable to a lot of people. And I feel like that's one of the best things you guys can do is like open up to your personal life, because there's so many stuff out there that's like super, very specific to a certain business, and you're not opening up your world to people.
I feel like people are like afraid to like open up.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. That's with the social media too.
Yeah.
It's like opening up, and a lot of people say like, the more you're on social media in a relationship, usually that's like the worst the relationship can be, because you're just portraying this image where behind the scenes you're not. But yeah, that one was awesome. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I know that when we started this, like, the goal was to grow and have an outlet for, especially for females, because we're a lot of like middle-aged dudes in the gym, like to lift everything.
Growing out.
Yeah.
I can't relate. I can't give a lot of information and help. You guys can talk about a lot of different stuff that I have no insight in, but it was so attracted to bringing you guys on because of what you guys offer for people, and I think you two really balance each other out. So that was one of the really main reasons we wanted to start this out. But I mean, for goals for me, well, I guess first off I'll start introducing myself to people. I'm Chris Tuttle. No one really calls me Chris unless I'm in trouble. So sometimes it's kind of awkward introducing myself. So I don't know whether to say Chris or Tut. But I run the gym here, where obviously you both are a big key part of and part of the success. Have the nutraceutical company. Live right across the street, so I'm kind of here all the time. Try to get away a little bit, but yeah, I had a lot of different things going on, but wouldn't be able to do it without people like you guys, Brandon. But so much of continuing is just always working towards the next thing for me, and sometimes I just get bored. When I feel like I'm not pushing myself.
Right.
I definitely wouldn't say that I keep it together. I think that's obviously, we talk about on the Zooms a lot, and very stressful, can really kind of run yourself down, but again, having the goals and making the plans, I think when you have a lot of different things going on, that's how you're able to at least seem like you're keeping it together. But goals for me are everything, but I think the biggest thing that I always see is not rushing to pick them just to pick them. They actually have to mean something to you in order for you to carry out your plan that you make. And I think that that's where a lot of people get lost, because they feel the societal pressure to have a goal. I always tell kids they feel weird when they go to college, like, I'm declared.
Yeah.
You don't have, maybe your first goal was to go to college, right?
Yeah. And then
go there for a year or two,
I think that a lot of people fall into, again, like they pick a goal and they're like, this is it, and then they're so set on it, even if they're maybe not taking the right steps, or they just fall out of, they're like, all right, I thought this was what I wanted to do, and then they realize, never mind, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm actually passionate about this, but then they feel like pressure from parents or siblings or significant others that, no, this is what you're supposed to be doing, stay on it, and then I feel like people get into years later and they're still stuck in being miserable rather than resetting, regrouping, and then starting a new plan over. And I think it's because people lack resources or lack knowledge of, okay, if I want to switch over, how am I switching over? That's a whole new ballgame for me. I don't even know where to start. So then they just stay in there. Again, we've talked about comfort zones, and they just continue on from it.
and you blink, right? And you
Yeah.
blink and you've missed the last 5 years of your life. I tell all the young guys all the time, I'm like, dude, you're gonna change your mind. I was
Yeah.
like, you're 8, you're 17, right? You're gonna wanna do something different. I forget the exact percentage, but like, I think it's like 78% of the people who go to college and get a degree, their job is in a completely different field,
Right,
yeah.
So at one point from when you were 18 years old and decided what you wanna do, you change. And that's okay, but still I feel some people, they're almost embarrassed about doing that because I feel like they have to take steps back.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like, kind of humble yourself a little bit, take a step back and realize what's gonna make you happy. And again, having goals that actually mean something to you, that's the only way you're gonna carry it out.
Right, and I know that you started a while ago with Fast Twitch here. What were you doing before Fast Twitch, and how did you find your way to Doc and all of this stuff?
Yeah, it's been crazy. I was just said it the other day, like I feel like I've only been in the real world for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So I bounced around trying to figure out I went to college for criminal justice.
Okay.
I wanted to be a Customs and Border Protection agent. Went through that process, was actually waiting, got hired, was waiting for my training placement. While I was
Okay.
waiting, I had like 2 months, so I went down and volunteered time as a baseball coach at my old
Okay.
college. My coach was like, you belong in coaching, so come back to school, be grad assistant, so you get free masters, work, and start a profession in coaching. Did that, loved it. As soon as I finished, I saw my friends buying houses and cars. I was like, can we swear on this?
Yeah.
I was like,
Last episode,
I was like,
fuck everybody, fuck you Australian
I
guys.
always like think of my mother, you know, she always
I
gets
know,
on me
I
about
know.
swearing. I was like, fuck this, I want to go buy a bunch of stuff. So I left and I took a sales job at Comcast, out of coaching. Fucking miserable. I hate it. Best decision I ever made was leaving and doing that because I realized what I really wanted to do. I realized when I wanted to get back, it was strength conditioning is what I love most about coaching.
Right.
So I left Misericordia when I went back. I went to Cincinnati at 26 years old, took a volunteer internship, which was a big pill to swallow.
Right.
When my friends are doing all these things.
Yeah, and now you're at an internship.
Yeah.
And you know, I had a master's degree and I'm mopping floors after 18-year-old kids. You
Yeah.
know, but it was like that's what I had to do to start it.
Yeah.
And from there, I took another volunteer internship at Villanova and worked into a paid assistant position. Then worked into the director of football strength conditioning interim for 5 months. And then I had the opportunity to, someone introduced me to Dr. Ferraro, who was opening Fast Twitch.
Right.
Brought me on board as a director, and then just worked my ass off and earned, he made me his partner and an owner of Fast Twitch. And then ever since then, mid-2017, it's been rolling, but like you said, like so much shit changed for me. I went
Yeah.
criminal justice, sales, you know, so
Yeah.
it's been fun.
Let's track back all the way to, because that's a fact that I didn't know about you, is what you started off with. You said something, what is it, border?
Customs and Border Protection.
What made you want to do that way back when? Can you even remember that?
Yeah, I mean, I was like very cliche guy. I always drove like lifted Jeeps in high school.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do, I like guns.
Mm-hmm.
Actually just got my first AR-15 today.
Okay.
All right.
Ready for the zombie?
Yeah, we're getting ready. We're going up. I got the baby girl coming, so I'm stocking up. I wanted to have a lifted truck, sit at the border, protect our country and very American pride.
Put your
Protect
dip
it.
in.
Sit in the back of my truck with a lip in Texas, have a big house, and live the Texas country dream. I watched a lot of Friday Night Lights in high school.
Okay.
But that's what I wanted to do. And again, I'm very patriotic, so I wanted to do that. My dad was all very supportive of it.
Right.
So we kind of just took that path, and there's still some times where I want to get into
Yeah.
it. You know, I still want to become a police officer eventually. I'd like to have the gym and be a police officer in New Jersey. It's something I really always wanted to do. And it's just kind of weird how it changed. And it was hard at first, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, because you have this in your mind. Because I know when I was younger, figuring out that I wanted to go into athletic training. My mom was a physical therapist, so I think a lot of what you grow up with, like you said, you were watching a lot of things, or you're very into guns or whatever, and this is a path. I like that. I'm seeing the people that are doing it, and I want to do that. But you don't know what it entails. You don't know what it actually is. You just see, again, like the glamour of whatever you're wanting to do. Packing a lip in a lifted Jeep, and I'm just picturing you in some sort of action movie right now.
That's all I
for
want.
somebody to cross over. But for me, my mom was a physical therapist, so she was working with people. I played sports my whole life, so it was like, okay, I don't want to work with only older population as a physical therapist, but I like athletes. I want to work with athletes in sports and be around that for my whole life, so I'm going to go to school for athletic training, sports medicine. Went through it, did everything, was an athletic trainer at a private school, and realized I didn't want to sit there and do that every single day. I even went to school. My other degree, not a lot of people know, is I was double major in athletic training and physical education. I got all the way to student teaching, was halfway through student teaching in elementary school, and I was like, no, absolutely not.
See, we're a
not
lot
for me.
alike like that. I think more so than we actually think, because you have 500 things going on. I call you the bag girl.
Yeah.
You're never just like doing one thing. It's like, okay, you're going home, you're taking care of your niece, then you're going to roll jujitsu, and then you're coming here to lift, and then you're going to your other job, and then you're doing athletic training, and then it's like, that's why I call you the bag girl. You guys got 15 bags and 2 bangs on you at all times.
He's calling me a bag with a G. Girl, not bad, not a bad girl.
Not a bad girl.
Bad. I'm like a pack mule. My Jeep is like a shed. I have 5,000 different bags in there, but it's just, again, these are goals of mine. I have multiple goals, and you can have multiple goals at once, but you have to make sure that
You prioritize.
you prioritize it, and you also have a plan for them. Maybe one of those things that I'm doing, I don't have a specific goal for. Maybe right now, for me, jiu-jitsu, I don't have a specific goal as to, I want to get to this tournament, or I want to get a super fight, or maybe I don't have a specific goal for jiu-jitsu, but it's still something that right now is also something that I'm doing. Maybe lifting right now is what my goal is at. Maybe right now my goal is more or less to work on my maxes in the gym, or work on my push press right now. So you're allowed to have multiple things going on in your life that you don't necessarily need a specific goal for. If they're just something for enjoyment, people always say have something for work, a hobby, something to make you money, and a side something. So there's all these things that you can have, and you don't necessarily need a major goal for all of them, but I feel like some people become stagnant in life.
Yeah.
And then, like we were talking about in the last episode, you're concentrated on other people's lives and things like that, and you're like, woe is me, like, why am I not feeling fulfilled? Well, it's because you're stagnant. You're not doing anything in life, and I feel like a lot of people get stuck into that, not wanting to reach the next level. And it's hard because people like us in our heads, we're just, again, like, go. Yeah. Courtney has her tanning, her beauty, her everything going on, and then Tut has supplements, windy sleeves, the gym, his baby girl on the way, and then for me it's all the things that Tut just listed. I don't have to relist. But we thrive off of that, and some people I feel like are afraid to step out and want that for themselves, because they're just like, okay, I have a good job, I have a house, starting family, and then they're just like, figure it out.
I was talking to my buddy, it's funny you brought that up, I was talking to my buddy, came up for dinner last night, we just had a fire. He's in athletics, collegiate athletics, in the administrative part of it. You know, we talk back and forth, and the hours are crazy. You know, he's very high up. He was talking about maybe stepping away and just taking a 9 to 5. And he's built mentally just like me. I was like, dude, you don't do this, right? You can't just sit there. I was like, so what you want to do on the weekends, because you work Saturdays now, whatever you do on those 2 days on the weekend, Friday night, better outweigh what you're doing all week, because the time you're spending at work is more than you're going to have free time anyways when you put in sleep. So I was like, you're always looking to grow to the next step. If you go do that and just punch the clock for someone else, you're not going to enjoy it. Some people like that. Their goal is to save as much money as possible with the best job, be at home as much as possible with their kids, and that's fine. That's their goal. But for him, it wasn't, and it just took him us talking about it and kind of putting it out there that, you know, that wouldn't be for him because he's so goal oriented that it kind of opened his eyes. Like, you're right, you know.
That was like when I worked at a hair salon. I was there for like 4 or 5 years, and I had set schedule, and even afterwards I'm like, I can't just go home. I would go home, take clients. If I wasn't taking clients, I worked for a DJ company. I was doing photo booths. If I wasn't doing that, I was trying to do like my Instagram, build that, and then I started Glow and doing like the spray tanning, and then I got to a point where I was just like, all right, like this is all getting too crazy. Like I want to focus all my energy on like myself and building Glow, and I just left. And I honestly thought I was going to build my whole career there. I left beauty school, and I was like, you know, I want to be like a big hairdresser, I want to be a big makeup artist and all that, and I was going to grow with the company, and I was like, I just want to work for myself. And I took a huge leap of faith, and I just completely went off on my own and worked for myself. And there's been times where I was like crying myself to sleep. I'm like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Like, but as soon as you like set a goal and like believe in yourself, I'm like, okay, like what can I learn from all these people around me, and just believe in yourself. And
I think building all those little things like we talk about with like the supplements, know when you sleep, fast switch, the expansion is wide, right? All those are all working together towards my big goal. All the things you're doing, even building out your Instagram, doing this podcast, is building your personal brand to then be a big time makeup
Exactly,
artist.
yeah.
You know, all those, like you said, you don't have a specific goal for jujitsu, but jujitsu at the moment, right? That's helping your endurance for lifting. If that's your, so if you can get them all together as one,
Yeah.
they're going to coexist and really drive you to the one big goal.
Yeah.
And that was, we identified with like no windy sleeves and fast foods. Like my favorite part about being a trainer is not, anyone can make a program,
Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
talk about it all the time. It's the relationship, it's just helping people.
Yeah.
Being a resource for them to create the best version. It's my favorite part. All of those other things that we're doing, all do that and help people get 1% better, feel better about themselves.
Yeah, I always tell like my clients, like, it's not about the money for me. It's about how I'm making everybody feel. Like in the beginning, I would give everybody discounts and all that. I'm like, I don't care about this. It's just really to help me grow and learn, and to help other people feel good. And that's why a lot of people just come to me, because they like the relationship I've built with them.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's how you.
And that's what makes me happy.
And I've read, I think I spoke about this in Zoom. I read a book. It was like The Go-Giver, and it's a book about that. When you're ever starting something and you're trying to be successful about something, it shouldn't be like a dog-eat-dog world where I'm trying to like get all of Tut's clients to come to me. I'm better than Tut or things like that. And it's just how many people can you help along the way, and then based off of that, then success comes from you being a good person, pretty much.
Yeah.
So if you're just, I know that you guys talked about this in other podcasts that you've already recorded, but not going after. A lot of people's goals are, oh, I want $1 million. What goal is that? Like, it's not a tangible, it's not feasible, it's not anything that.
Call it millionaire byproduct.
Yeah, and you're just like, okay, I want $1 million. All right, how are you gonna get that $1 million? You just think that you're gonna start a business and right off the bat, you're gonna throw out a few Facebook posts, Instagram posts, get some celebrity to somehow maybe sponsor you, and then you're gonna get $1 million next year? No, like, even like Barstool and even Instagram and even all these things, all of this takes years to build up, and it's taking, like you said before, taking these small steps that I feel like a lot of the time, even younger generations especially, they think that jobs or steps are beneath them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to do that, like that's not what I want to do. I want to make 6 figures within the first year of me getting out of college. Who the fuck do you think you are?
You have to start at the bottom.
You got to put in your time. You got to take all these steps, and you got to get knocked down to come back up. No successful anything was ever like immediately
overnight.
Successful and fucking went for it.
That's why I think, so you identify your big goal, find a path there that you love, right? So if you love the journey to your goal, you're going to allow yourself to be happy the whole time.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a goal and whatever path you choose to get there, your micro goals I call them, if you hate that process, you're not going to be happy until you get to your end goal. Then you're going to get there and be like, now what?
Yeah.
Whereas I love every single day of work,
Yeah.
and we do a ton of shit for free because I love the process of trying to get to where I'm going. So
Yeah.
I can be happy every day. And that's why I say millionaire byproduct. I don't care how much money we make. It's how many lives we can affect.
Right.
The more money we make, that means the more people we're reaching, and every product we're providing or service is helping people.
Right.
So I know by how many people we're affecting or how many dollars are in the bank account, that means we've affected that many lives. Not because I want to have $10 million in the bank, that means we've affected 10 million lives maybe. You know, like that's the important piece for me.
And as trainers, I get annoyed with like trainers or beauticians or people who charge a crazy amount of money just for like an hour with us. And I know my worth. So it's not, anytime I talk to people about how much I charge for training, if I really wanted to, if I was going to be like, oh, it's $150+ an hour, not even an hour, like a session, just to train with me, I know that I'm worth it. But at the same time, what clientele am I reaching for that? How many people am I helping with that? I'm not.
Yeah.
I always say, like, I'm in this to help as many people as I can, however I can. If they need help with this or this, or the whole session is just them working on a certain thing, or maybe it's a stressful, like, however many people's lives you're affecting and making their daily living better, that's what it's about. So if you concentrate on what it's actually about and not just what am I getting from this person? Am I getting money from this person? Am I getting referrals from this person? If this person can't pay me as much as that person can, am I not paying attention to them as much as this person? It's like, absolutely not.
And you can tell a fraud, right? Like, so you can tell a fake, right? If very real and authentic about your message and your goals portraying. If you say out there that your goal is to help as many people as possible, if you're charging out the ass, how many people are you deterring or pushing away from being able to train with you?
Yeah.
Right? So I have so many different like platforms that we've created that we will never let finances be an issue for
Yeah.
you to not be able to work with us.
Mhm.
However, like you said, there is a floor of what
Right.
you need to work for to justify it. However, I will never I do the same people tell me all the time, you don't charge enough. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't justify that because I know they won't pay it, and then they're going to go somewhere else, and I'm not going to be able to have an influence on their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can, when you put yourself out there and say that you want to help people, you can tell if someone's really just saying that to use to get the clout, as the youngins call it, to just get the clout and say that because people want to hear that, and then you're charging $200 a session. Is that your main goal, or is loading up your bank account the main goal?
Yeah.
I've been offered multiple jobs since I started here to leave, making a lot more money.
Yep.
Didn't even think about it for 2 seconds to
Love
ever
it.
leave.
Love
I
it.
just, when I first moved here, I wasn't the biggest fan of New Jersey.
Yeah.
Now I'll never
Yeah.
leave. Now I'll never leave because of the relationships and the
Yeah.
people that you're never truly understand how far your net goes with how many people you're actually affecting.
Yeah.
Because you get the messages. I get a lot of messages now. Thank you so much, need that. You're inspiring me. Blah blah blah. There's so many more people that won't break that wall down and reach out. So if you just keep doing what you're doing and be a good person, you're helping a lot more people than you'll ever know.
Yeah.
I actually have a client too that I got like really close with her. I met her when Glow first started, and I would spray tan her, and then me and her we would just talk about everything during like our glam sessions and stuff. And I had a really busy day once, and she texted me. She's like, "I don't even need a service from you. I'm like really going through something, and I need to talk to you." And I was like, "Listen, I have a busy day tomorrow, but I'm coming to your house. I'm blowing out your hair, and I'm giving you a tan because that's when you feel your best self." And she was like, No, you don't have to. Like, I'll pay you." And I'm like, "No, I'm coming because my heart, this is what makes you feel good, and you're in a very bad place right now, and guess what? I just want to be there for you."
Yeah.
And I did it, and she's like, "This is why you're going to be so successful, because you're just genuinely a good person."
Yeah.
It's so important.
With the whole quarantine that's going on, I know a lot of people have been like down, especially if again, this is beauty and fitness, so I'm just sticking with the fitness piece of it now, but a lot of it is career and jobs, and people are so uncertain about everything, and a lot of people's mental health is mouth. Just, it's a mouth. Mental health, apparently my brain's affected, has gone down, and it's fitness-wise, career-wise, relationship-wise, everything's getting all funky. So I know that I hit a point too where even though I could still work out and still do active things, like we said, I'm a very busy person and I like to be busy.
Yeah.
So when I wasn't waking up at 5 in the morning and going until 10 p.m., I lost myself. I lost like what value I had, because my value, a lot of what I take it from is how many people I can help.
Yeah.
So then I started doing Zoom classes, and people asked me, "How much are your Zoom classes?" My Zoom classes were for free for 2-3 months, because I didn't want to take out of people's pockets that were unsure of it, but they were people who needed fitness, and they needed that outlet that the gyms were closed. They didn't know how to train themselves at home, so I had probably 20 consistent people on Zoom 3 times a week, and every time they would ask, "Oh, how much is
For
class?"
free.
I'm like, it's free.
That's awesome.
It's free, because I know that at the end of the day, some of them were my clients from the gym, some of them were people that were interested in it, or some of them were teammates or roommates from college, and it was just an outlet for people. One, they could see people on Zoom, get motivated from it. They're getting their workout, and it's giving them something in their day that they had to look forward to and they had scheduled.
You're building a community of the right mindset and
Right.
growing together,
Right.
clarity.
Right, and people, what was I going to charge them for doing a Zoom thing? It wasn't worth to me to charge people, because all I wanted to do was give people an outlet without them having to worry about finances and hiring an online trainer that was however much, because it was also giving me what I needed. I needed to help
To, like,
people.
stay in
I
your
needed
routine.
to train people. So again, guys, if you're looking for career goals or goals, and you're looking at it as a what can this person do for me kind of thing, your goal in your career or your money goal is is gonna fall very flat of satisfying for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a dollar, I mean, I'm sure there obviously is a dollar amount. There's not a dollar amount that you could get me to ever move professions where I'm not directly interacting and trying to positively influence people because of the satisfaction that I get. You know, I can go home at the end of the day and I'll do 10 free sessions. It's better than me than making 10 grand that day.
Yeah.
Because, again, everyone's different, but that's the goal.
Yeah.
And you showing how good of a person you are by doing that free. It's not like you're backlogging, hey, you guys did 30 sessions during quarantine, now that you're back to work, here's my Venmo. It's like, genuinely just, your goal is to help people and you did it, and that's where people can see a difference.
Yeah.
And we talk so much about that with Rourke and I just did that podcast about the beauty and stuff.
Yeah.
So much of it, that's why I love beauty gains, because taking care of yourself doesn't stop in the gym, and so much more of it goes to your confidence that you get from looking good and feeling good carries over right into having a positive impact to your job or whatever it is. And that's why Rick and I get shit for doing manicures and whatever.
It's great.
But I just got one. But it's just so important because the gym is, I think, more so about mental clarity and positive and confidence than physical. Same thing with beauty and feeling good.
Yeah.
Just seen Ash strutting around before the photos, feeling like
all my
so
clients
beautiful.
are like, I don't even want to take my makeup off. I'm like, that to me is great. And like, I may not be a trainer or like know as much as you guys, but like even when I come here, I just feel so good because I could be down working out and you guys could be like on the other end like still screaming for me to like work out and like, you know, like motivate me even if I'm having like a bad day. Like that's like, even quarantine, like it sucked because I couldn't come here. I was like, damn, like I miss my routine of just coming here. I used to come here just to hang out.
Yeah.
Like I don't even, I just work in the back. Yeah, I'm like,
Brandon
damn.
and Rourke just staring at each other.
Yeah.
Every day. We're like, okay, now what?
Yeah, but you guys always even just motivate me like, okay, like you could be having a bad day, but you know what? Like it's gonna get better. You're gonna be fine. Like keep pushing towards your goals.
Hell yeah.
So I love being here.
A lot of that's confidence.
Yeah.
And you guys both know too because you're very active on social media. If you're not active on social media, it's not a part of your direct affecting your business and your ability to help people, it's a weird thing for people to grasp.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it's a big leap and jump to start doing it to your like current friends and family.
Yeah.
What the hell is he fucking posting about so much? Friends are
My
judging
family
you.
all the time.
Everywhere I walk, you go to barbecues, you're like, whoa, dude, it's Flex Friday. And I'm like, yeah, it's Flex Friday. The fact that you know that, right? That means it's having an effect, right? You know,
Doing what I want.
It's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And it comes with confidence. I wasn't confident enough 2 years ago when I started this until so many people came to me and said how much I was helping them in the gym to really have the confidence to make that leap because I was scared about getting judged. And I think building with the confidence in the training and taking care of your body has allowed me to do that, which has allowed me to try, you know, people might say, Tuttle, shut the fuck up, but to try to help as many people as possible.
And with growth, again, we said that this whole podcast is supposed to be about growth and goal setting and things, and we always go on tangents. If you get the three of us in here, we'll just talk about whatever. But with growth, even how we were talking last episode, after our last episode just happened, the person who messaged that we read was talking to me more and more in depth of, okay, what was bothering me about what was going on, and it came out eventually that besides like all the sneaky things was this person's constantly on their phone, all they're doing is checking medias and checking this and checking this, like, are they growing? So, hello! Guest star?
Special guest.
Did you just wake up?
Look at this tie!
Did you get all done up for the
You just bow tie.
podcast, baby?
Like
Dog's
rage,
distraction.
dog rage.
Distracted easily.
But with it, it's growth is something that we should always be striving for. Again, some people's goals, we reach our goals and, okay, I worked all these many years and now I have a house and I have a family and I can support my family and we can go on vacations, and maybe that is your goal, to just live a very simple life and be comfortable and be able to support your family. And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But if that's what you're seeking and you're having a hard time getting there, it's probably because your goal setting isn't well put together, I'll say. I know that when I set up a goal, I write it down, and this is something that I'll share with you guys later on, but you literally write it down. You're almost making like a flow chart of goals, whatever your goal is, whatever you came up with.
Yeah.
And after this, we'll go back into, how do I pick a goal? What do I want to do with this goal? But whatever you pick your goal, put it at the top. then I always put down, do you know how to get there? And then you have to question, do you know how to get there, or is it just in your head, oh, okay, let's give it, I want to grow my hamstrings.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how to grow your hamstrings? Yes. And then how? And then you get to how and you're like, never mind, I actually don't know how, so then you go back to no. Then if it's no, then it's, do I know what resources I can get to in order to help me figure this out?
So I always say the micro has to match the macro.
Yeah.
And it has to lead you there. And you talk about it, writing out your day.
Yeah.
Everything you do in a set time period should have some sort of positive or forward effect of what you're doing.
Right.
So if you say your work day is 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., everything you do in that time should
Yep.
be positively impacting you
Yeah.
towards your goals.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, mapping it out is the easiest way to do it because there's so many unanswered questions that you can now check off.
Yeah.
And the biggest piece, like you just said, resources. Taking down the wall to allow other people to help you and use
Yeah.
those resources is a big thing and a big hindrance to a lot of people's goals
Yeah.
achieving because they're too scared or embarrassed to ask for
Yeah,
help.
they don't want to ask for help, and again, we keep staying on fitness and beauty, but this can go for anything. It's, do you, let's say your goal is to buy, let's say your goal
Another
is
special
to
guest.
buy a new car, buy a house, anything like that. You could still do this whole goal setting thing. It's, okay, I want a 2020 Jeep Wrangler. We'll stay with the
lifted.
Wrangler. Lifted at the border of Mexico. Okay.
Let's go. That's it.
So again, put your car there. How much does that car cost? Do you have that in the bank? No. Okay. Is my salary or whatever I'm making feasible for me to get that? Okay. Then we're moving down. Yes, no, no. Okay, how can I increase my salary? Or we're moving over to what can I afford?
Yep.
And then going from there. So it's not just, oh, I want this car. Do you know the specifics that it's going to take to have that car? Same thing with a house, same thing with an apartment. Same thing with, again, going back to fitness. Again, back to the hamstring thing. I don't know how to get there. You said yes, but then you realize when you have to write it down, you don't.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm going to do a deadlift.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
but what's your of that?
Sets and reps, just stuff
Right.
like that.
Be honest with yourself. If you don't know how to do something, you're sitting there by yourself writing this down. Don't pretend that you know how to do it. This is literally how you're going to make your goal. So if you're back to no, I don't know how to do that for myself. Again, go into, do I know the resources that I need? Okay, I know that this person is a trainer, or I know that this gym is right down the road from me. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to ask. And then you move from there. So if you have this goal, a lot of us are, let's say even for me, oh, my goal is to own my own gym one day. Okay, is that just in my mind, or do I have a plan for that?
And is your actions reflecting your goal? You know,
Right.
so everyone says they want to do things. I want a six-pack. Why are you drinking 20 beers Friday night?
Right.
So if you need to be able to self-reflect, identifying that you have to admit that you don't know how to strengthen your hamstrings. The ability to self-reflect is a huge piece of it. It's something that I couldn't do until about 2.5 years ago. When you can look in the mirror and say, okay, I'm fucking up,
Yeah.
it opens a whole new world and the possibilities become endless because of that.
Yeah.
When I first started here, a passion planner is you guys ever heard of a passion planner?
Yeah.
It's sitting over on my desk. You usually get one a year. The first one I get, it has a whole 6 month, it has your goals, you map it out 3 or 5 year, and then it makes you make an action plan.
Yeah.
There's 7 big goals in my life that I wanted, and I'm about 3 weeks away from, about a couple months away from having all of them. 3 years ago when I started this, I had 0. And identifying them, and now I'm checking them off. I wanted to have a beautiful wife that I loved a lot, check. I wanted to have a lifted truck, check. Wanted to have a Harley, check. Wanted to have a good dog, check. Well, he's sometimes good. I wanted to have a family, which I have one now with Ashley, but we're gonna be adding a baby in 3 weeks. And I wanted a house, but in my house it says in parentheses a happy home. I don't want a fake materialistic giant mansion.
Yeah.
I want a small house that's a happy house to go to.
Yeah.
In 3 months, we're looking at houses now. I have all 7. 3 years ago, I had 0 of them. And keeping your why and your goals in front of you is a big thing that I say a lot.
Yeah.
in my book that I open up every single day to write out my agenda, those goals are in front of me every single day.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big, another big piece of it is keeping your why in front of your face at all times.
Yeah.
Why don't you want to squat at 5 a.m.? Well, you want a 300 pound squat, you better freaking squat at 5 a.m. You know what I'm saying? So
Like, oh,
that's very, yeah.
Squat, like,
He's strolling at 70, you're like, I got a deadlift today with these guys and their jorts and shit.
You're like, I'm actually putting on my headphones so that I can blare out their music. I don't actually have headphones
You
on
don't like
right
the
now.
Edwin McCain?
Sometimes it's so early and my head is just like, oh.
We put it as loud as possible.
I made it to
Let's go.
5 a.m. workout. I was like,
I was so shocked you walked in today. Hey, I was like,
he was like, wait, what's happening?
You're like,
right
did you
now?
get lost? Are you?
I was
you
like,
think it's
hi.
5 p.m. or what?
Did you
He's
just
like
walk
so
home from your
confused.
night?
Yeah,
You're just
didn't
coming
she?
home.
He was so confused.
But yeah, that's a big thing. That's a really good thing,
Yeah.
is mapping it out.
When you started your business, what were certain steps that you had to kind of dwell in extra to find that weren't just, okay, I know that I have to do this, I have to do this. What were some steps that took a little more for you?
Really, the first thing was believing in myself. When I left my job, I actually got a job with a protein shake company just so I can have some income because my clientele wasn't like huge. And then I started to realize like, okay, like how can I branch off and like reach out to people and get more clients without kind of staying in the beauty industry, because when you're in the beauty industry, it gets really competitive and you don't want to take other people's clients and all that. So I kept relationships with some people, and I would set boundaries like, okay, I know this is your hairstylist, but let me do your tan. Or so that way they could still have that person, but I can have a relationship with them too.
Right.
That and just kind of figure out my way. Like my sister's very good with all this stuff and she does business and all that, but I have so much pride and like I know she's so busy. She has 2 kids, a full-time job, she's married. Like I don't like to go to her unless I really need her, so I go to her for like marketing perspective. So other than that, I just kind of figured everything out on my own. That's where it went to, and that's where it went to like, I'd cry myself to sleep sometimes. I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Like I was 22 years old. I was 22 years old and I was like, all right, I'm gonna work for myself. So then I would just kind of Google and research things. I honestly got a book, I think it was something for dummies, I don't even know. And I read like a little bit of it. And then I was like, all right, I got this. Like I would start researching. I listened to a lot of Tony Robbins, Abraham Hicks I really liked too. And then I met up with my friend and everything kind of just started to fall into place.
Right.
So I had a goal and then I was like, okay, I can't be so down on myself if it doesn't pan out the way it is. So then I reached out to my friend who's a lawyer and I was like, I don't have a lot of money right now, but like eventually, hopefully I do, I'll pay you, like what can we do to like get this going? And he's like, I believe in you. So me and him sat until like 3 a.m. to do my operating agreement, my LLC and all that. And then I went to an accountant and I did all those things. And then really it was just kind of figuring out my own way and setting a goal like, okay, I definitely want to stay with hair, makeup and tanning, and just reaching out to a bunch of people. And I would just start reaching out to a bunch of people on like Instagram and being like, hey, can I give you a tan? I want you to try it. A lot of like influencers more so. And then I made a lot of friendships just doing that. And it's
that's
it's
how you
great.
ended up here.
Yeah, honestly.
I was talking to someone, I won't even name them. At some point in your life, in everyone's life, if you're going to want to get to the goal that you want to be at, especially if it's not the societal standard of punching the clock or someone else, at some point in your life, you're going to have to take a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And it happens for everyone at different times in their life. And when you make it, it's probably the most freeing and best feeling that you'll ever have in the world.
Well, when I left, someone that I worked with was just like, you're really not going to make money doing what you're doing. And I was like, thanks for giving me the confidence that I needed to do it. Because honestly, when someone tells me I can't do it, I'm like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Yeah. And honestly, like when I get stressed out, I actually get to my goals, which I run off of stress, honestly.
Yeah.
So if I'm not doing a million things, like when I was on quarantine, like just not doing anything, I'm like, oh my god, what can I do? Yeah. I would sit there like just practice makeup. I would do my makeup, take it off, do something else, and just practice looks that I think that I needed to work on.
I tell Brooke says all the time too, is like the busier we are, the more productive we are. So I always say stress creates productivity in a way, because like,
really
if I have no downtime, you're going.
Yeah.
And you're finding things to do in the 15 minutes. If I got 5 hours off, I might go, do something
you're
crazy.
just like lazing around.
There's days where I'm constantly in my car. Yeah. Like
in
and out of my car, and some people would be like, oh my god, like isn't that so stressful? I'm like, no, I love it. And I don't even answer text messages. I'm like, on to the next client, and at the you're the worst.
I'm the worst texter. I am. I admit it. I'm like, I tell people because I work from my phone, right? So I'm always
Yeah.
on it. So it's like, okay, if it's not directly work related at that moment,
Yeah.
even though people are like, you're on your phone all day, why can't you text
Yeah.
back? It's like, I'll text back later. 6 hours later,
Yeah.
the next day, you're like, fuck, you know?
Well, that's what happened with me, and then I was starting like my personal and then business, and like all these text messages, I was like forgetting to answer people, so I had to get a separate phone.
Yeah.
And then actually, that was like a big point, like for me, I was like, oh, I had to get a separate phone. Like that's when you know you're doing good.
She said she wants to be my assistant.
Oh, yeah, we were
on
talking about this
maternity leave.
yesterday.
She's like, can you employ me when I'm on leave? So I'm gonna go nuts, and you need help. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. But when that woman said that to you about you're not gonna make money doing that, I would say if it was a normal thing to do, there'd be more people taking leaps of faith, and there wouldn't be judgment.
Yeah.
But because it's not the societal norm, if you do it, you're gonna get judged. And
Yeah.
if you think and care too much about what people think about your goals and what you're doing to get it, then you won't be successful. But you're like, you know what? Fuck
Yeah.
that girl.
Yeah.
We were talking about that back, whatever episode it was, about comfort zones. The first episode we ever talked about comfort zones. It's when somebody is bringing you down, it's because they don't have the balls or the confidence enough to do it themselves, so they don't want you to do it because then it makes them look less of something. So people want to keep you doing exactly what you're doing.
And
they
I
don't
was,
want you
yeah,
to
and I was
move
doing
forward.
so much there. I was doing a lot there, and I was just like, okay, how is this going to benefit me long term? Am I really helping myself, or am I helping someone else grow their place?
Well, you see it, right?
Yeah.
And you see like the Andy Frisellas and these big owners at my life. Like,
Yeah.
wow, I want their life. They talk in front of people. They run all these businesses. They're rich. People say that to me about the gym. Like, dude, I want to do what you do. You hang out in the gym for
But they don't
15
realize-
hours a day, blah blah. I'm like, yeah, it's my job because I sacrificed for 3 years volunteering, mopping floors, wiping up sweat from other
Yeah.
people to get here. You can do it too, but you don't see that shitty journey that it takes to get there. But the goal was to own my own gym, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm partners with Doc in this gym.
Yeah.
Best fucking thing ever.
And that's
They
why
didn't see
I
what
get
happened.
right, and I get so annoyed when I have, because I'm a fitness manager in my gym in New York.
How much do you hate when people are like, do you just work out all day long?
It's like, you just work out all day long? Why do you have to, like, why do I go to jujitsu? Why do I take the time to work out on my own? Don't you work out all day long? I'm like, no, I'm doing so many other things, and especially like in my role there, it's I have to bring on the trainers along with me training people, and I have to make sure that my new trainers, especially a lot of the new ones that come in, are the younger ones who don't have as much experience, and they come in and you sit them down and you tell them what their job entails as like a level 1 trainer coming in, and they're like, okay, and they like think that they're taking it, but then when you're on them about why are you doing this, why are you sitting down right now, why are you eating, why are you whatever, like you don't have this time during this shift. If you're on a 6-hour shift, you only get so much, and they just want to sit there and they just want to see clients come in. When I was a floor trainer, I was on the floor my entire shift and even after my shift. I cleaned up all the way to the point where people thought that was my job. So I started having my friends come in. So I was training my friends for free so people could see me. It's every second of the day, people think that they should be paid for breathing.
Yeah.
And you have to put in the work in order to get where you want to be. So if you're gonna think that you're gonna come in as a like 22-year-old brand new trainer, no experience, and I'm just gonna hand you clients that are spending $1,000 a month for you to train them right off the bat, what work did you put in? Nothing. You didn't clean up anything. You didn't stay in any extra hours. People that have that drive and have that I want to get better by learning and by putting in work, those are the people that are going to be successful, and those are the people that are going to be happy because they're happy for putting in work. They thrive off of learning from people and not just thinking that they're entitled for what they want. I hate this whole entitlement thing as to, oh, well, I went to school for this long, so I get a 6-figure job right off the bat. No, because when I got out of school, I didn't get a 6-figure job right off the bat. It took me years and years and years to even get close to that at that point.
And probably a little even happier along the way because you were working towards a goal of yours, doing something that you liked instead of getting to 6 figures doing something that you didn't like, so it wasn't a part of your goals.
Yeah.
I'd say it's such a good relationship with like Rurik and Brandon, those guys, because they'll do so much in here
Yeah.
and never ask me for an extra dollar because they're good people and they want to earn. Now,
Yeah.
they've worked their way into very good spots here, and when more stuff opens up as we grow, you know, they'll be up top for it because the the sacrifice,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Yeah.
like these guys all walk in, they're mopping the floor. I'm like, dude, cleaning people come Tuesdays, Fridays, they
Yeah.
mop. They're like, hey, well, look dirty, I'll mop, it's fine. I got a couple sessions of them. I'm like, it's fucking good people
Yeah.
with a goal in mind of
Yeah.
helping grow this business to create great jobs for them.
Yeah.
And I think when you can align those and you find, it's tough to find people
Yeah.
like that. So those people you want to keep very close to you,
Yeah.
you know?
And it's just with the goal setting, it's even if it's not your career, even if it's lifting and or beauty or again having a family or having things like that. In past episodes when we're talking about surrounding yourself with people that'll get you there, it's such a huge thing. Like why I
So
sit here
important.
with Tut and with Courtney and with Brandon and with Rue and with everybody else involved. I've been here for however many years now. Even when I like drop off, or I'm always involved because I believe in everything that's
Yeah.
happening around.
I always say, I don't have like, there's not like a number of a goal for me here. It's not,
Yeah.
I want 10,000 followers,
Yeah.
it's not this. There's tangibles and things that you can't really measure in what I want, the success. And like you both said, you guys just come here sometimes to hang out. You'll be here a couple hours extra than because you're thinking, I want when someone walks through that door, this to be the best place, positive, and just build a big family culture. And you can't
Yeah.
put a number on that. But when
Oh,
people come in,
100%.
I want it to be the best place and experience that they can possibly get. Not even from a training perspective. You know what I'm saying? I want them to walk in, sit on the couch, have coffee, relax, shoot the shit, come here on a Saturday,
Yeah,
work
like
out,
this
have a
is
drink.
second home.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's what I want, but you can't measure that. But it's
Yeah.
a feeling that you know, and that's always a goal of mine.
Yeah.
That's why when someone walks through the door,
Yeah.
I always want every coach that's on the floor to yell and wave and say what's up. That's like
Yeah.
the thing that we talk about in meetings.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's the postman.
Mhm.
Here, you know what I'm saying? Just that. And they're like, oh, these are good
Yeah.
dudes, you
Yeah,
know?
here
Because
we
we put off a persona that we're just like these, that's why we we put off a
Yeah.
persona that we're these big tatted, well, I'm not big, but meatheads that like to deadlift heavy and listen to screamo music and shit like that. We're just goofy ass dudes that want
Yeah.
to help people and create
Yeah.
a good environment for
Yeah.
growth.
So I want to talk about your partner, support system, Ash.
Big Ash.
Talk about
Love
Ash.
her.
Let's talk about how she has helped you throughout all of these years with whatever goal, whatever thing you're trying to do out there. Talk about her.
You get me choked up. You see my,
I know, I didn't know it just happened.
um,
I was like, what? Did you just yawn?
yeah. It's
Switch up.
very like, and as we get closer to like the family and everything, it's a very like emotional subject
Yeah.
for me just because we went through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
We went through a lot of shit. We basically lived together in Pennsylvania, and I was like, I'm so miserable. And she was there for me. Like, I was at the point where I had to like go speak to people because I was so miserable working for Comcast. She was the first one. Quit your job and go volunteer 12 hours away from me. That we just got a dog together. Go do that. She would drive out, fly out. I would go to Villanova. She would drive down every weekend after working night shift, 2 hours, put the dog in the car. She's a bag lady too. And she supports everything. And basically when this opportunity came when I was leaving Nova, it was either go to Baylor in Texas or come here. And she literally, I was like, where do you want to go? Because I'm ready to start a life together and move in together. But there was a vision if I stayed in college athletics that we were going to be moving around state to state for a long time. And she was okay with that because it made me happy. She's never once pressured me, and I always say she's my sugar mama, you know what I'm saying? Like she brings more to the house, you know, like I get a lot of nice shit because she makes way more money than I do. She's never once asked me to change careers. She's never once anything. We moved to Jersey. She's a country girl. She hated New Jersey. Now she loves it.
Yeah.
But she allowed me to be myself and follow my passion, and not so much even, you know, not giving me shit for it, but she supported me and told me to keep going.
Yeah.
She told me to work long hours. She doesn't ever give me shit. So there's days where she wants to hang out alone, but she knows how happy it makes me to like have everything, you know, and be so busy that I wouldn't have been able to do it like without her. And that's why like with the baby coming and everything, it's just gonna be, it's like an emotional time for us because of where we're at now from where we were,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been together almost 7 years, but
Yeah.
like it was just it was fucking crazy. But I wouldn't be able to do that.
You guys are relationship goals. I worked your wedding and I don't tear up. It takes a lot for me to cry. When I saw her in her wedding dress, because I'm like close to you and I got close to her, oh my god. Me and Alyssa, I was tearing up. I was actually like about to cry. I think I cried on the way home. I was like, wow, this is just so beautiful. But I also thought about the prank that I did on you. And I just imagine your anxiety on the wedding day.
I hate bright red lipstick and I hate like dark painted on eyebrows.
And
Like,
I
looks
love
good on
pranking
whatever.
people. I love pranking
Actually,
people.
it sends me a picture like, hey, do you approve of this for the wedding? And it was like the biggest,
Like
reddest
Ronald
lipstick
McDonald.
and
No.
like black paint. I was like,
No, we have to go back to like you were training me like the day before her trial,
Yeah.
and you're like, Curly, I hear that you're gonna do her makeup tomorrow, like her trial. I'm like, yeah, like I can't wait. We've been talking about it. And he's like, all right, only thing I asked, like no crazy brows or red lips. I was like, no problem. So we did her trial, looked great, and I was like, I'm not sending you home looking what you're gonna look like on the wedding day, so let's play a prank on him. And he was so mad at me. He didn't talk to me for like
she
a
loved
day.
it. And she don't say 2 words. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a lot for her to really
All
open up to
I
people,
said, I
and
was like-
she's fucking dying.
I was like, we're gonna prank touch. He's like, okay, yes, let's do it.
She was all, but she likes doing that shit.
I went to like physical therapy and everyone's like, is that really what her makeup's gonna look like? I'm like, no.
She's the fucking trooper because she has been pregnant the entirety of quarantine.
Yeah.
She's an
Yeah.
she's an ER nurse
Yeah, she's a fucking nurse.
Yeah.
Pregnant.
who works
in quarantine.
overnights, and she does not bitch at all.
No.
It is so
Every time I see her,
motivating.
always has a smile on her face. I'm like, oh,
It's crazy.
You just make me so happy.
She's- Everyone's like, dude, dealing with a pregnant wife, it's a pain in the ass. Like, they're very needy. I'm 10 times more needy than she is.
She's
still
awesome,
to this
yeah.
day. And it's so motivating and inspiring to me when I don't want to get up and do something. I'm like, she's fucking folding, just woke up
Yeah.
early, folding clothes and shit. And she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID, all that shit. She hasn't bitched once. I begged her to quit during COVID
Yeah.
because I was scared for the health and everything. And she was like, I'm fucking quitting.
Yeah.
She gets a month off before the baby comes. She wouldn't take the month off. She's
Yeah,
like, I'm
right.
working until she
Yeah.
comes because what am I gonna do? Sit at home?
Yeah.
And it helps me that I have her in the house as inspiration and motivation every day.
Yeah, and you
know?
see all these. I feel like we always come back into like relationships and couples and things like that, but it is an important part of growth.
Yeah.
Because if you're with a person who doesn't understand why you're go, 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 or why you're not happy with what you have, or no, like, what are you talking about? For me, I know that I need a partner who is gonna push me.
Yeah.
And not just be like supportive. Like, support is good, but I need that person that also wants to continually be stimulated and constantly be thriving for something more. And I'm not a person that is content with something. I'm
It
always
doesn't mean
gonna
you're
have
unhappy
more.
in your relationship. Because some people, it's like when they're looking for more, some partners will say, well, am I not enough? Am I doing? And that's a very toxic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you'll see, I'm starting this new business, so you're not happy with your life.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. As long as you know and you're comfortable and confident in your relationship, and they know that they're enabling and allowing you to do
Yeah.
that because of their support, I think it is a very important thing to not take and look at it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't do that shit if you have someone that doesn't support. You can't. You wouldn't be able to do what you do
No.
all day, every day if you had someone that's like, well, I'm done work at 5. Where's Jess?
Right.
Yeah.
I used to have an ex years back, and he was toxic. Everything
Yeah.
about it was toxic because there was so much insecurity from him, and he was somebody who had his own house, had his career, and he was set with what he was doing. Like, his goals were, he worked out, and his goals were like, oh, I want to buy a boat or whatever. They weren't more like having to be pushed every single day because he made good money, he was good with that. But if I would be working from, again, 5 in the morning until my last client finishes at 8, and maybe his job is done at 4, and I'm still going, and then I want to work out myself because that's something for me and whatever,
Yeah.
I would get a text message, why are you still at the gym? Because
Fuck
I'm
that.
working out. Well, wouldn't you want to be here spending time with me? It's like, what the fuck?
What are you gonna do? And too, it's a very needy thing too. People are like, well, come spend time with me. Okay, so you can lay on the couch next to each other scrolling through Instagram.
Yeah.
It's not like it was back in the
Yeah,
day
no.
when you're actually sitting there having a conversation with someone the whole time you're together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So why am I going to go sit home and scroll Instagram next to you when I could be doing something here?
Yeah.
I think downtime breeds lack of productivity, and I think it also breeds extremely bad decisions and life choices. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
when do you find yourself binge eating? When you're bored not doing anything?
Yeah.
When do you get out of routine? When you don't have any structure or anything planned?
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck are you always building stuff in the garage? if I do get done at 6, what am I gonna go do?
Yeah.
Sit inside? You know,
Yeah.
like.
That's why I never understand. I have this conversation a lot. Again, fitness is huge for us. That's something that we do, and sports has always been something. As soon as I got done with field hockey in college, okay, I'm done with field hockey. I need something competitive and sport related to get into. So I used to do martial arts when I was younger. I hit up one of my friends, asked him to recommend me an academy. So that's why I literally drive 30 minutes to this academy, which luckily is right down the road from here. So it's nice. But once I got done with field hockey, I knew me as a person needed something else to do. I couldn't just work out, and then go home and have 5 hours to do nothing. So I got back into jujitsu, and people all the time, don't you do something for yourself? Don't you ever have time to do something for yourself? That is time for myself.
Yeah.
Working out in jujitsu is my time. Well, when do you get to just sit on the couch and do nothing? When I'm sick.
Yeah,
When I'm
literally.
sick.
You see that a lot of people too, like athletes. Like I have all the Nova guys in here right now. I'm like, dude, you guys train harder now than you did when you were at school. Because they had the competition and practice on the field. They didn't want to train. They have no competition now. So now they're competing with themselves. But one of my subconscious goals, well, I said it to myself, but I never told any of my friends, was like, I want to be so annoyingly motivating that I have a friend group of about 7 guys. That they all start to want to get motivation to train.
Yeah.
And I said it to them one time, I was like, let's do a challenge. They were like, nah, fuck you, Tuttle. And I was like, okay. Now, I train many of them online, and I think like 6 of the 8 guys are all training hard. They got home gyms, they're PR, and they want to come here, and I was like, fucking did it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just like, it was just a goal of mine. But for them, because a lot of them have 9 to 5, and they're former athletes, I feel like they're so much happier and so much more confident in themselves because they're doing that now. They're competing again. It's like, dude, I want to come up in PR there now. You know, it's like it just breeds it and it carries over into fucking everything.
I mean,
gives you a kickstart back into life again.
Yeah,
That's it.
I wasn't like big into like working. I mean, I cheered, but like after cheering season, I was like, all right, like I'm used to like running a routine and like flipping and stuff. So I was like, I would go to the gym, like I don't even know what to do. And then like since I started working out here, I'm like, oh, I like love working out. Like
squat,
like maybe like get into it.
Something, and we talk about how you don't need to, let's say, come into the gym and lift weights. Maybe you want to get into something active, but you don't like going to the gym. Rock climbing, hiking, like all these different things can get you to different goals or figure it out. Some people, again, we say people don't have goals because they don't really know where to start or what they're interested in doing because maybe they weren't an athlete. Maybe they wanted to get into it later on. I see so many people now who were never into being fit or never into sports that I went to high school with, and I see them in the gym all the time, more ripped up than people who were 3-sport athletes. And it doesn't, just because you were never into it, doesn't mean you can't get into it throughout life. It will always be something for you.
Like you said, like identify, there's no one goal. Yours might be to squat heavy, someone else's might be just to get bigger biceps. I don't know, but there's not one goal. It doesn't have to be one thing. And then taking a step back and identifying what it is, but also understanding it's gonna fucking change. And being able to adapt or die, that's what they say. Be able to adapt and change your way or your ways to get where you wanna be, or change your goals if you're not happy getting there. Or, you know what I'm saying? So I think the self-reflection and taking a step back from everything with that before you go in is a big piece. It's a step that people miss. They're just like, I'm gonna start going to the gym. Okay, what are you trying to do?
And it's that like we said before, it's that uncomfortable, I don't know even where to start. People don't know where to start. So we were saying earlier how I physically have to write down everything. Like me and Todd had this conversation about just how to schedule your day and how to fit everything you want to do in a day. You have to be so structured with it. If you don't know how to get towards a goal, you just saying it out into the universe isn't going to make it happen. Especially if you don't know how to get there, you have to, at least for me, I know I have to physically write it down, and then it's there. It's a plan, it's made, and if you don't know, like again, I said, you put it at the top, and do I know how to get there, yes or no? If it's no, you can't have that ego of, I don't want to ask somebody, I'm going to sound stupid, especially I feel like for men are so egotistical, can't ask for help for anything.
I straight up say it too. I go through with Anthony all the time with like the Harley. I know what I want on my Harley.
Yeah.
gonna pretend to be a man. I can't fucking change the oil filter. I'm not gonna pretend to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And I have no idea. So when you come down this weekend, you're gonna help me on my bike for 4 hours.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of guys are like, oh, I'm gonna figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, all that shit. And it comes with taking down the wall.
Yeah.
Everyone needs help in some aspect getting to their goals.
Yeah.
So build a good team around you.
Yeah.
Support. It doesn't mean you're weaker.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're more vulnerable for anything.
Yeah.
You open yourself up, you're gonna get to your goals faster. You're
Yeah.
gonna go farther. Right?
And
What they say, if you want to go faster, go alone. If you want to go farther,
Yeah.
go together.
Yeah. And with it going towards that goal, you seem more confident and more sure of yourself if you ask for help. I know for me, my background again is athletic training, and then I studied and got my personal training certification also, and then I just opened up my strength and conditioning book. I used to be a field hockey coach for 5 years. Again, I was a field hockey player forever into jiu-jitsu. So back then, sports performance was fresh in my mind. But now that I have been more of kind of, we call it a human performance, getting people back to their daily living after injuries or after surgeries and things like that, I've moved a little bit away from sports performance since I haven't been coaching anymore. And now I reopened my book because now I want to get back into it.
Yeah.
But while all these guys are out there, they're all strength and conditioning certified. When I'm out there doing my lifts, I'm a fitness professional.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, you shouldn't. I have a trainer.
So do
I
I.
ask them all the time, look at this video for me. What's going on? If all of us as professionals who are successful people in what we're doing still ask for help, if
You
you're the
should be able to as well.
if you think that you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
Facts.
to constantly be okay to
Yeah.
grow and constantly be open to learning from people and learning to help people. And maybe Courtney's not my direct contact, but I know that Courtney, I just asked you the other day, my friend asked me
Oh,
about the eyebrows or something.
Yeah.
Courtney might not do it, but Courtney knows somebody who can help you.
Mhm.
So the more open you are to allowing people to help you and asking for help, maybe they don't know the answer, but maybe they do know somebody or they know a resource to help you. But it all takes that first step of letting your ego aside and asking for help, or just ask a simple question and then you get into a conversation and then you get your answers. But you shutting down and not wanting to open up to people because you don't want to sound dumb or you don't know how to ask it correctly. If you ask somebody who is actually willing to help people, like we're willing to help people, nobody's going to think you're stupid.
Yeah.
We're going to take so much that you had the balls to ask to
Yeah.
better yourself, that we're going to do everything in our power to help you.
I've grown more in the last year because I've been more self-reflective and vulnerable to open up and ask for help and build a team around me than I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I get more joy out of it. I get more joy out of training with Anthony as my coach than I do programming for myself.
Yeah.
You know, I get better. I'm better. Yes, I have one of the highest level certifications you can have.
Yeah.
I could program for myself. I don't think I would have as good of an overall experience as having a coach, critiquing, making my program, planning,
Yeah.
accountability.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I don't want to lift today. Don't be a bitch. I'm going to be stronger than you soon. You know, like little stuff like that. It goes a long way. But like taking away my ego, asking my younger brother-in-law
Yeah.
to help me in my profession,
Mm-hmm.
I'm better off for it. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's a big thing with your goals.
Yeah, for sure.
So again, guys, we keep going on. That's always my phrase. You know how we say you have to stop saying like so much?
Yeah.
I say again. Even
should
if I
start
did,
a drinking
even
game
if
for
I
this
didn't talk about it before, say again, guys. Even though I never brought it up
We did
before.
go violently off topic.
Topic.
Well,
Yeah, we
with
did.
us in a room too, like
Yeah.
we both fucking go. But
We just
Yeah.
talk a
thank
lot.
you guys for having me on. I appreciate
No
it.
problem.
El Presidente.
I know
He's
he
gonna
did
try to
this-
get us to whoa.
They always do this whoa, and their whoa has turned into whoa, slap, fist bump,
Mop.
take each other out, like the wildness, and me and Corey can't keep up.
And we're
with
just like,
I like
Hey,
to break it
guys.
down.
Hang on. If you guys like listening to our podcast, get onto the guys too.
nobody sleeps.
They just did what you guys just do?
Self-care and
self-care. Self-love. So we did our self-love. They got into their self-care and self-love about guys, all of their manicuring, pedicuring,
Yeah.
facial, everything
Oh, yeah.
like that. So go check them out. All right, guys. So we went all over the place. Hopefully you got something about growth and getting out of your comfort zones and goal setting. Like I said, that flow chart kind of thing will definitely be posted up there just so you guys have something tangible to follow. But end of story, reach out to people, if you can't figure out what your goal is, or if you find that you're unhappy in life, it might just be because you're so stagnant and
Yeah.
you need a change up. You need something new in your life, whatever, you don't know how to set a goal, ask a professional, check your resources,
Surround
talk to
yourself with
people.
good people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
love it. Thank you guys.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Bye.
I can't do it.
Hit the wall.
This
The wall?
is my wall.
Did it do it?
She just goes,
Oh,
what?
catch yourself.